Hi, this is Mrs. Hansen, your online instructor for psychology, and I'm going to give you this short mini lecture for Chapter 4 on the topic of hypnosis. I know that hypnosis is a fascinating subject. Many students are just so curious about it. Perhaps you've been to the fair and seen an entertainer, a stage entertainer, do a show where they select people from the audience to come up and they undergo hypnosis, even as a group. There's a huge difference, I want you to know, there's a huge difference between entertainment use of hypnosis and legitimate psychological, clinical use of hypnosis. It is a valuable clinical tool, meaning in a therapeutic setting. It is not what many people think it is. Probably the biggest misconception is that you're going to sleep, because they've seen so many movies where the hypnotist says, sleep, sleep, you're going to sleep. And maybe they were swinging a watch back and forth or something like that in front of the person's eyes, but that is not a typical representation of what clinical hypnosis is all about. Hypnosis is a standardized procedure. It has steps. You have to be licensed in order to use hypnosis in a clinical setting. So it isn't a toy. It isn't something that I recommend for entertainment purposes at all. In my live classes, my face-to-face classes, I do a hypnosis demonstration, not a full hypnosis, but just an assessment of individual students' suggestibility level, and that indicates their possible hypnotizability. So we can assess how hypnotizable you are. So fact number one is not everyone is hypnotizable. Those who are super control freaks, those who are not very able to let their mind entertain possibilities, in other words, they're overly skeptical, people who do not create good imagery in their mind, people who tend not to get lost in activities where they lose track of time, that kind of thing. So the more hypnotizable types are people who are probably a little more artistically inclined, not necessarily producing art, but appreciating art as well, and are good at mental imagery, and are not overly skeptical, and are willing to allow this experience to occur. It's resistance to hypnosis that creates the block. So there are a couple theories in your Chapter 4 book about hypnosis. One is that it's a social role-playing experience, and I have no doubt there are people, especially probably in those entertainment shows at the fair, where people are going along with and doing and saying and behaving in a way that they think is expected while they're under hypnosis. Perhaps in therapy there are people who are playing along. I know in the film Good Will Hunting, right? I hope many of you have seen that. In the film Good Will Hunting, Will pretends to go along with hypnosis in a particular scene and then laughs at the hypnotist. So there's a good example of someone who's resistant, who has a block, who is unwilling to allow this experience to, they're unwilling to legitimately cooperate with the experience. So fact number two is, in addition to not everyone is hypnotizable, fact number two is that the subject is in total control. The hypnotist is only giving suggestions. It is the individual subject who is willing to take those suggestions and make them as real as possible in their mind. To imagine, if the hypnotist says, you are tasting a lemon right now, somebody who's going along with that imaginary experience may actually feel saliva gathering in their mouth. Their taste buds are reacting to the imagined sensory experience of lemon juice. So I'm sorry I can't do the hypnotic susceptibility test with all of you. I don't think it's really a good thing for me to do it via webcam because I can't see what's happening with all of you. But I believe it can be a valuable clinical tool. Now, Ernest Hilgard, who's talked about in your book under the hypnosis section, is the leading expert on hypnosis. There are a couple people at Stanford as well. And it is used clinically to provide positive behavior changing messages that the individual can fully absorb without resistance, perhaps under hypnosis. So for instance, someone who's wanting to quit smoking, under hypnosis they may get the suggestion that smoking is a poison, smoking is something they don't want to do despite their urge to do it. And perhaps the next time they feel the urge to pick up a cigarette, they'll be choosing a different behavioral path. Perhaps the next time I want to pick up a cigarette, I will instead pick up a piece of gum and chew that. And it's simply a matter of allowing those thoughts to take root so that after hypnosis, those are called post-hypnotic suggestions, so that after hypnosis, when this actually occurs, when you're feeling the urge for a cigarette, it isn't just the one thought, I want a cigarette. There's also a counter thought that took root deeply during hypnosis. And that counter thought is, as much as I want that cigarette, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to reach for a piece of gum instead. And so it's a way to allow your thoughts to become rooted and possibly be strong enough after hypnosis that it actually influences your behavior. So it's not magic, it's not voodoo. There are things hypnosis can help with and things hypnosis cannot help with. Hypnosis cannot make you do something that is dangerous to you or dangerous to others that you would not normally do. Ernst Hilgard says you have this hidden observer, a part of your mind that is watching out for you, even though you're under hypnotic, in a hypnotic trance or state, that you're not going to allow yourself to do something that is totally crazy. So also you cannot have inhuman feats of strength, that you wouldn't normally have. Under an adrenaline rush, sure, you can have enormous increases in strength, but nothing, you're not going to be able to lift up a semi-truck or something just because you're under hypnosis. Hypnosis can relax you or suggest that you are relaxed enough to recall memories that may have been repressed. And repressed memory recall is a big issue in hypnosis. And it's true that people may recall memories, but the accuracy of the memories is questionable. The complete accuracy of memories is questionable. And that is why memories recalled under hypnosis is not admissible in court. There are just often too many details that are not accurate, even though perhaps a core memory is. So it's not admissible in court, but it may be useful in a therapeutic setting. So I hope this answers some of your questions about hypnosis. The truth is, you probably can be hypnotized if you have the right attitude about it, and most importantly, you're with a therapist that you trust. I don't think anyone can be hypnotized if they don't really have trust in the therapist that they're dealing with. So it requires deep relaxation, but at the same time, incredible focus. You're not asleep, you're in a deep state of concentration and focus, but it's all inward into your imagination so that you are dissociating. That's the term Hilgard uses. You are dissociating from the external reality around you. You're ignoring the sights and sounds and the presence of others, and you are just in your mind. You are in your mind, thinking deeply and focusing and concentrating deeply on the suggestions that are being made. I hope this helps you, and I hope to post a YouTube video about hypnosis showing some examples. All right, I hope you do well on the test for Chapter 4.